All right, guys, welcome back to the Lay Down Podcast, episode number 14. I am
Is it
joined,
14?
of
That's crazy.
course, by my co host, Lenny B. And we've got a different video today. Usually we're just kind of talking about the NFL, but today, a little different. I came up
A little
with,
different.
I didn't actually come up with the idea. So, Bob Ryan, who is basically, he's been watching sports for like 60 years. He's a Boston Globe writer, and he came up with an idea for basketball about if the aliens came down, they were invading Earth, and the only way we can save humanity is by beating them in a basketball game head to
Wait,
head,
I just realized, isn't that just the Space Jam plot?
pretty much.
That's just Space
But
Jam.
so you can say this is inspired by Space Jam, but instead of the aliens stealing powers, they just randomly have it for no reason.
Yeah,
But
for whatever reason.
anyways, I decided to do that for football, and I asked Lenny about the idea, and he concurred. He thought it was a
I'm
cool idea.
excited, man. This is a good idea. This is a cool
So
idea.
we're just doing 21st century players because I thought that would be easier because it's more recent.
It'd also be a lot more easier to pick players in general, I think. I don't like just in terms of like would I rather have Randy Moss at his peak or like Jerry Rice at his peak? And there's only two
It's harder.
people
It's
here,
easier to
so
compare, right?
exactly.
And so here are the rules. So we can only pick one of players. So if I pick 2015 Julio Jones, Lenny can't then pick 2018 Julio Jones.
You
And
know
then
I
you have
love
to pick
Julio.
a specific season of the player you're taking. And then you can also pick like a form. So like say Lenny theoretically could pick 2007 Tom Brady, or he could pick 2014 playoffs Tom Brady, whichever one he thought was the better version, or whichever one he wanted on his team. That's where he can choose either version. So you can choose a playoff run or a regular season or just an overall season for a player. And yeah, that's pretty much all of the rules. Just obviously filling out offense, defense, special teams, returners, head coaches, offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators. Lenny, got any thoughts before we start?
I'm just glad we get an excuse to talk about these seasons because I was looking through these and I'm like, man, I have a lot of opinions about this stuff I never get to talk about.
Right. Yeah, and I think it's really cool. It's really tough for me to make my board, but I've made it. All right,
I just
Lenny,
know for a fact there's going to be like two Falcons players on your team. Like for a fact,
gotta
there's
get
going to
it.
be at least like two.
We're trying to save the world here. Remember,
Okay, fair enough.
Falcons. They can fly. They may come in useful.
If they ended the game at the half, I think we'd have a good
Yeah,
shot, though.
you see, but then it's not just Falcons, so it's not completely contaminated.
Fair enough.
Um, all right, so I'm going to spin the wheel. We'll start with coaches.
I can hear like the noise sound effect.
All right, so I'm first up.
All right,
So I've
let's
got to
hear your
pick
coach.
my head coach here. And then after that, Lenny's going to get 2 picks for his head coach spot and
Oh
coordinators.
boy.
All right. So when it comes to head coaches, one guy in particular has defined the last 22 years. His name
Okay.
is Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
And it was tough for me to pick the best version of Bill Belichick. But I think Bill Belichick is a defensive coach, right? And I wanted to pick the best defense that he had, that version. And I decided the best Patriots defense there ever was 2003. That was their second Super Bowl. And I'm taking 2003 Bill Belichick with my first pick for my head coach to save the world. I think that
All right.
team, they beat, I believe, Steve McNair and Peyton Manning in the playoffs. And those were the 2 MVPs that season, co-MVPs. They also won the Super Bowl. And that was statistically just their best defense. That was statistically their best defense. You had a really awesome secondary and front seven, and that was probably the one historic defense that they really had over the 20 years outside of maybe 2019. So I'm taking 2003 Belichick. This is younger Belichick. This is kind of just kind of cooler, I guess you could say. But
Cooler.
he also has that clutch ability because they won the Super Bowl this year, and he's Bill Belichick. There's not really much to say. So
Yeah, I mean, I find it interesting that like his best season was like it in air quotes because he's been like the same coach for however long, but like all the way back then, and he's still a very good coach nowadays.
yeah,
It's a special kind of coach to adapt to the game as it goes, and Belichick, great coach, obviously. So my turn. You're gonna hate me for this. You're gonna absolutely hate me for
you're
this pick.
picking Kyle Shanahan,
I'm
aren't you?
picking Kyle Shanahan,
God.
2021.
All
You're
right,
going to be
Lenny.
my coach.
So if we're
But
playing
wait,
your team,
wait,
we're gonna lose.
wait. My offensive coordinator is me. I know Mike McDaniels doesn't do anything in that team. So any offensive coordinator, I'm just here to tell him to run the ball. I
What?
am the offensive coordinator. You did not
So
say
is
this
this
is not a rule.
2000 and what 20? What year? What version?
2021. I think 2021 it was his best
That was
coaching year
peak
in terms
Shanahan.
of
No, no, no. What year are you the offensive coordinator? That's what I'm
oh,
interested in.
oh, okay. We'll say like 2026 when I'm like not as dumb right now. We'll just say that. That's not technically not a rule, right? Uh,
No, Lenny, you have to pick an actual offensive coordinator. You can't.
okay, fine.
You've never been.
I'll just say Mike McDaniels because I don't think I want to get because he's worked with him for 10 years at this point. I'll just say 2021 too because they've worked together for so long and they've had such great chemistry. Even though there's been a million great offensive coordinators and tens of hundreds of whatever in NFL history, I'll just stick with the one that's going to have the best chemistry. Because if I'm talking about like a pure scheme fit, if I wanted like two people, I'd want those guys in the room. If my head coach is going to be Kyle Shanahan, I want the guy who's been with him for 10 years. You know what I mean?
So you're aiming to get the clutchest group of players that ever existed, basically.
We'll get to that. We'll
All right. So for my offensive and defensive coordinators, I'm
Mhm.
gonna go with a guy that I can rely on in big
Okay.
situations without
Okay.
having to draft the clutchest team ever, and that is Mitch's guy. Now your guy.
My guy.
2014 playoffs. Josh McDaniels. This
McDaniels.
was the year. This was their best
McDaniels.
offensive performance in any of their Super Bowl runs. This was the year they played the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. And McDaniels kind of owned Quinn in that second half. And he did again a couple
Mhm.
years later in Super Bowl 51. But, I really think McDaniels on this team, he's got Super Bowl experience. He also provides a little bit of charisma and he has chemistry with Bill Belichick. And I think Belichick would be very
Mhm.
comfortable with that. So, yeah, I'm taking 2014 Josh McDaniels as my offensive coordinator.
I find it. Sorry, I was just gonna say I find it funny that we both picked like the guy that he already with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Um, and for the defensive coordinator position, who can
Mhm.
add on a little bit to Bill Belichick? And I think it's one of the greatest defensive coordinators in NFL history. And that is Wade Phillips from 2015.
Dang it! I was gonna take Wade Phillips.
The
It's fine.
2015 Broncos were one of the 10 best defenses ever. And Wade Phillips was absolutely awesome in that run. And he was also great with the Rams. And he's just a really revolutionary coordinator to me. And they were such a good defense. And I think he had such a big part of it because, he left a couple seasons later and the defense was never really the same after that.
Mhm.
And just what he did with that defense, how they were able to take apart Cam Newton, what they were able to do in that Super Bowl. I know against the aliens,
The
I'm gonna
aliens.
need to have a clutch coordinator defensively. I'm gonna need to be able to make stops, and I think I can do that with Wade Phillips. So
Um, for my defensive coordinator pick, you got to tell me if this counts or not because I think it does because it's a defensive coach. I'm gonna take 2011 Mike Tomlin. I'm not exactly sure. Would you count that? Do you count that?
I only went offensive and defensive coordinators in the actual
How
season.
about this? 2010. Okay, I'll just say Mike Tomlin then,
Mike
because
Tomlin from 2002.
2002. All I'm trying to say, I want Mike Tomlin because number one, he fits the scheme that I'm doing it with,
All right, I'll
and
allow it for now.
and generally, I just feel like Mike Tomlin brings this kind of like intrinsic energy to a room. And with Kyle Shanahan, one thing that I've always thought about him is though he's a pretty good locker room presence, he's always had that kind of like not 100%, I would say. Like Andy Reid, the players are all bought in. Bill Belichick, all
He's a,
bought in.
he's a
With
scheme
Shanahan,
guy.
I'm not like 100, but I do think the players do resonate with him. But with bringing Mike Tomlin, it's not only doing that, and it's also uh, getting a coach that is going to fit my scheme. And when he was at the time where his defenses were at a point where they were just really good, uh, he was really freaking good. I mean, there's a reason he's been a freaking coach for however long he's been. I'm trying to like summarize because it's hard to summarize someone like Mike Tomlin, but yeah, I just chose Mike Tomlin. I was gonna pick Wade Phillips, and then he took my guy. He was my backup option. I didn't really think about it that much. It's fine.
All right. So those are our coaching spots. Moving on now to
Oh,
offense.
so I get to pick my guy first because I just
Do
picked
you
the
want
first
to do that,
quarterback.
or should we respin for each side of the ball?
No, I think respinning is funner. I think it's more
All
fun.
right.
It creates a little more like intrigue. So yeah, my offense is going to be like the Shanahan West Coast offense, and my defense is going to be 3-4. In case you wanted to know. So I'm not going
All
to
right.
have
You're running
two
a
D tackles.
3-4.
Yeah, I'm not going to have two D tackles. I'm only
Running
got the
three
nose tackle and two.
linebackers.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know.
All right.
We'll swap it. We'll swap it.
So Lenny, you have the first pick
Ooh.
offensively.
Okay. So anyone off the board is mine. Anyone.
I'm actually no.
Oh, we're gonna go quarterback first.
I'm spinning for the position we're gonna do here.
All right.
And we are going to do the running back position.
Oh, I'm glad you picked that one because I have a feeling you might have taken this one. But when I think of Shanahan's scheme, and when I think of a player that fits Shanahan perfectly, I'm going to pick LaDainian Tomlinson, 2006, every day. You know why? Because he has that speed that a Shanahan running back needs. And not only that, he offers the passing ability that none of the running backs that I've been able to watch from the Shanahan has had. And for my quarterback and my offense, I think it's going to be incredibly valuable to have someone like that. My original plan was to get Marshall Falk in 2002 with his MVP. Was it 2002 or 2001? I didn't write it down. When he won
2000.
his was it 2000? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was wrong. But yeah, I was going to pick him, but I was like, when I want a Shanahan running back, I want someone with like blazing speed who's just going to hit a hole and just go. And when I thought of it like that, LT was the first player to pop in my brain.
Yeah. So LaDainian Tomlinson was an interesting one because I really did consider him. But the first guy on my board, and I'm glad you're leaving me with him here, was 2000 Marshall Falk. And
Hey, see,
Josh
look,
McDaniels, you saw what he did with Shane Vereen and James White. He loves those pass catching backs. And who better than the greatest pass catching back of all time, Marshall Falk, going with this 2000 season because that was his MVP season. And, I'm not a big running backs deserve MVP guys. I usually would go with the quarterback, but he really did deserve it that year. I believe he broke the touchdown record, and they were one of the greatest
Mhm.
offenses of all time. So I think with him, with a quarterback that can get the ball out quick and likes to throw to the backs, and in a system that helps that, I really do think that Falk would thrive just as much as he did in 2000. So,
Like I said, I would have picked Marshall Falk too in that season if it wasn't for just scheme fit. So yeah, I mean, great. I think it's a great pick.
all right, I've got the next pick too, but I'm spinning again for the position.
Spin.
All right, and we have a guard, the
A
guard
guard.
position.
Oh God, I already know who you're gonna pick. All right, whatever.
2013, Evan Mathis. This is an
Oh,
interesting one.
okay,
So
okay.
I
I thought
was
you were gonna
looking
pick
at the
someone else.
Pro Football Focus grades, and the highest graded guard in PFF history, so from 2006 to 2021, was 2013 Evan Mathis. He had above 95. He was on the Eagles this season. This was the great Nick Foles season. And he's just a really he's great in pass protection. He's great in run blocking. He's a leader, and he's somebody. He was one of the best guards in the NFL for a long time. He's a Hall of Famer, soon to be. So Evan Mathis, happy to have him.
All right. Well, I was totally expecting you to pick this player. I'm surprised you didn't, honestly. But I'm gonna go with 2020 Quentin Nelson, man. I mean, and when I'm thinking about my offense specifically, like I structured this with like, what do I want for Shanahan's offense? The best players that I can think of for this team, and who my quarterback's gonna be. Um, I had to go with Quentin Nelson because he's just when you talk about Shanahan players on the offensive line, you want dirty players who are just going to get their hands dirty and just freaking mow someone over. And the first guy I thought of at guard was Quentin Nelson, man. I mean, he's a stud. He's a stud. I love
He
Quentin Nelson,
is
man. He's a stud.
2020 Quentin Nelson.
It was a toss up for me because I feel like 2019 through 2020 basically the same. I would say 2018 as his rookie year wasn't as strong, but 2019 and 2020 for me have definitely been his best years so far.
All right, next up at guard for me, and this is another guy that goes forgotten, but I'm gonna go with 2007 Logan Mankins. He was
Mm, that's a good pick, actually.
Patriots
I like that.
guard.
Hmm.
He was protecting Tom Brady's blind side, and one of the things that I really think goes underrated with the 2007 Patriots is obviously they had a great quarterback and receiving core, but they also had a great offensive line until the Super Bowl. And I think people remember the Giants kind of getting to Brady and think, oh, they weren't that
Oh
good.
yeah, that defense was dominant
But
that game.
the Patriots they had the best sack percentage in the league that year. It was a great offensive line. And Mankins was the anchor to all of that. And he's just somebody that I know I can rely on in these big situations.
Yep.
Been on a lot of big games.
All right, so my guy, another low key pick. I feel like, or just maybe not low key, but like maybe people just don't know about him. Is Alan Faneca, 2004. I mean, again, I'm thinking about scheme fits here. I mean, dude is just a dirty player. He's gonna get, he's just gonna mow you over. He's a Steeler cut. You know what I mean? He's one of
Right.
those players, and he's gonna bring the energy to the team. He's gonna bring that like raw energy that I feel like a Shanahan guard in this zone blocking scheme is perfect for. So yeah, I just picked Alan Faneca 2004. Yeah, think it's a pretty good pick for me. I think I'm doing pretty good so far.
All right. Moving on to the next position. Let me spin the wheel real quick.
The next position.
And that is going to be the tight end position, Lenny.
Ooh. So I'm going first on this?
Yeah, you're going
Okay.
first.
For tight end, this will make sense once we get to quarterback. I don't know if you're going to know who it is or not. But I picked Mark Andrews.
Ooh, interesting.
2021 Mark Andrews. Because though he doesn't necessarily the run blocking tight end that someone like George Kittle in this scheme would be like, for my for my quarterback that I'm going to pick, it's going to be a perfect fit. I tell you, it's going to be fantastic because I don't want to like say too much, but generally Mark Andrews this season had one of the best seasons from a tight end that no one's talking about like at all. I mean, he was awesome
I
this
agree
year,
with that.
bro.
Yeah,
He was
he
really
was
good.
probably the best tight
And
end in the league last year.
I don't think he's going to complain about target share, which is something I thought about in this, where, okay, I can get all these players, right? but like if I get like T.O., Antonio Brown, like even like
That's
all these
fair.
like
No, no,
diva
no.
diva
That's
guys,
totally
I'm
like
like I know Mark
that's a
Andrews
legit
isn't going to
thing.
complain about targets, and yeah,
Right.
yeah. So I'm going to pick Mark Andrews here because he had a really awesome year this year. Like I don't want to understate it. He was really awesome, and I know he's not going to complain about targets.
All right. At tight end, I'm taking, this may be a shocker,
Okay.
2011 Rob Gronkowski.
Wow, I'm so shocked. So shocked.
Yeah. This was young Rob Gronkowski, and this was really his breakout season.
Before he got injured
Um,
too a lot too.
he had his best ever year. He had one of the greatest seasons ever for a tight end. And the underrated thing about Rob Gronkowski, obviously he's clutch, and obviously he's the greatest receiving tight end ever. But he was the best blocking tight end in the NFL for years,
Oh yeah.
and and that wasn't not the case in 2011. So I'm definitely taking Rob Gronkowski. I feel like he really fits with McDaniels, and he's kind of a fun personality too. But in 2011, remember, he was still really young. I don't think it was to the point where it would be in a couple years where maybe it would be a slight distraction. I think it'd just be a fun guy to have in the locker room. And with Logan Mankins and McDaniels and Belichick, I think they'd definitely be able to control him, I guess. And I think you'd get really good performance.
Yeah. I mean, like you talk about a player that is in the scheme already. We know they know each other. You know what I mean? Josh McDaniels knows how to use freaking Rob Gronkowski at this point. Since your 2014 season too, you're also thinking like, oh yeah, he's had 3 years of chemistry with him. He knows how to use him at his best. I don't know if you
No, this
thought
is
about that.
2011.
Wait, you chose 2011
Yeah,
McDaniels?
that was his
Oh my bad.
best year.
Well, still, anyway, it doesn't matter. You picked it. My point still stands.
But by 2014, McDaniel's already had experience with them, so that would
Yeah,
make sense.
that's what I thought you said. 2014. My bad. I forgot.
All right, I am up next.
Okay. What are you gonna? Which position group?
Actually, no, Lenny, you're up next
Oh,
because
I'm
we're
up.
only doing one tight end, right?
Yeah. I mean, unless your scheme is like I'll replace a
No,
slot for the
I'm
tight end.
doing three receivers. So
Yeah, I
should
got
we
a
do it
slot.
as in? Do you want the next pick and then we go from there, or should I take like another position?
Uh, just give me the next
All right. um,
pick.
actually, no, because you took a tight end, right?
Ah, yeah, I did. I was trying to please you, but yeah, sure.
Yeah, I knew it.
That's
I
why I
was
like. That's
testing
why I
that.
took it. That's why I took a second. I'm like,
All right.
yeah, go. You go.
So,
Fine.
receiver is next up. The wide receiver I am taking for this team is 2003 Randy
Mm.
Moss.
Ooh,
Not
that's
2007
controversial.
Randy
That
Moss.
that is controversial right there. I want to hear what you have to say.
So, I'm looking for a
Explain yourself.
quarterback that can lead.
Hmm.
Lead by example. I have a coach that can. Um, Randy Moss in 2003, I feel, is a little bit more physically gifted than he was in '07. This was peak Randy Moss still. And also, like, his yardage totals were more impressive. He had 17 touchdowns, and he did it with a quarterback that wasn't nearly as good as 2007 Tom Brady.
Hmm.
And I just feel like I'm getting the physical peak of him. And if I have him with leadership around him all over the field, I think I can control him, and I think he'd be someone the aliens just can't handle.
The aliens can't handle. Okay. Well, my pick. Am I allowed to pick slot because it's receiver?
Yeah,
Or all
sure.
right, cool. So, for my scheme, I think this is perfect Shanahan fit right here. Wes Welker, 2009, or was it? Yeah, 2009. I don't remember which season. I didn't look it up, but it was the best season. I don't remember which one it was. I'm sorry, I didn't do enough
2009
research
was
on
his peak.
I figured it was. I was just like I went off memory and I was kind of a little unconfident. But yeah, Wes Welker. Talk about someone who's just going to get the ball in short intermediate routes and go run for yard after catch. I mean, that's perfect, right? For a Shanahan scheme where it's just designed to get playmakers the ball. And I'm going to go like with the superstar talent here. I don't want to like have a player who's going to force feed he's going to ask for too many targets because we're going against the aliens and we're going to have to go with the game plan. Okay. We can't have you complaining in the freaking huddle about not getting enough targets. Okay.
Right.
And Wes Welker is, how gritty is he? The white receiver from wherever he went
Such a
from.
gritty,
Such a
hard worker,
gritty,
right?
hard-working receiver. And I know Mitch is gonna love this pick. He talked about how he like revolutionized this kind of player, and yeah, I think Wes Welker is just generally a very good fit for this what I'm trying to do. And yeah, I think
All
Wes
right.
Welker.
Your other receiver, next receiver.
My next receiver is going to be 2010 Larry Fitzgerald. I know. Again, another player who's not going to complain about getting the ball who had a fantastic season. Larry Fitzgerald to me, another great route runner, fantastic route runner. So now we have Wes Welker and Larry Fitzgerald, two of the best route runners of this century, I believe. If I were to just guess,
Yeah.
both on the same team against the aliens that have the best technique, Deion Sanders style, right? And I just know there's going to be at least one person open at this point. If I need like five receiver set or like not five receiver because I'm not drafting five receiver, but like I got four receivers out, or whatever, and I need to like throw up a ball or I just need a first down bad. Now I know I have two guys
They can
100%
get open on the
and they're going to
aliens.
catch it. That are going to catch the ball. Larry Fitzgerald, everyone knows this. I'm not like the first. I'm not even like the 1 millionth person to say this, but he had probably the best hands in NFL history, or at least one of the greatest, top three, whatever. I mean, dude just caught everything freaking thrown to him. I mean, talk about like going against the aliens. Like, I need a catch. I need you to get a first down. I think Larry Fitzgerald is for what the Shanahan offense is kind of what I already have. Wes Welker, Mark Andrews, two playmakers with the ball in their hand. I would like, I just want someone who's just going to consistently get open downfield.
All right. So I need a route runner, right? Because I've got Randy Moss. He's the big
Yes,
playing guy.
yes.
So I'm going to take 2002 Marvin Harrison as the next guy.
Ooh,
Arguably,
all right.
arguably, some would consider the second greatest route runner after Jerry Rice in NFL history. That's at least what I've
Jerry.
seen.
Jerry Rice.
Marvin Harrison in 2002, that was his peak. That was his best ever season. He was an All Pro that season, and it was really, I think, the year that he really became a historically great receiver to just a
Mm-hmm.
very good receiver for his era. He had 143 catches for 1,722 yards and 11 touchdowns. I believe he broke the reception record. He did break the reception record in that season
Wow.
for a single season, and that was not broken until Michael Thomas in 2019. And yeah, he's just a player that I think can get open on anybody, and I really trust in those short yards situations. And the other guy is another guy that can get open on anybody, and maybe unlike a Marvin Harrison or maybe even a Randy Moss, I know is clutch and can get me a
Oh,
first
okay.
down whenever I need him. We just saw him in the Super Bowl in the last game of the year,
All right.
2021 Cooper Cup,
Oh, all right. I like this pick. I actually really like this pick.
going
I didn't think
for
about
the
it.
slot guy here. I just think he had statistically the greatest receiver season in NFL
You know
history.
what? Now I feel like I should have picked Cooper.
I'm
I'm
not mad at
okay.
you on Walker, man. I think Walker should be in the Hall of Fame, but I think Cooper Cup in 2021, that was one of the greatest receiver seasons in history. In the slot, you can't cover him. He can get open on anybody. He's clutch. He's tough. He doesn't care about target share. He could get 6 targets or he could get 18 targets and he'd be fine.
Talk
He's
about another
dependable.
gritty slot. Another
Yeah,
gritty slot.
going with 2021 Cup. All right, next position. Only 3 left.
Center, tackle, and quarterback. Yeah.
And the center position. What's
Ooh.
next?
Uh,
That's you,
my
Lenny.
turn. Okay. I'm gonna take Jason Kelsey from 2017 season. I know I'm hammering this point home, but talk about gritty freaking linemen who are gonna get their hands dirty and pile drive you to the ground. I have now assembled three interior O linemen who are just going to pile drive you and not feel bad about it whatsoever. And I love it. I am so happy that I got these three guys, man. Jason Kelsey is in my opinion, the greatest center of this decade, and possibly has an argument for this century. Has an argument. I don't think he is necessarily due to his size. I just think his peak isn't necessarily what other players could be. But I just know from Jason Kelsey, uh, he is an awesome guy. He's going to bring this energy to the locker room as well. That's going to it's just gonna help, you know. Let's just say like big situation, like third down or whatever against the aliens, and we need like a guy to like a pick me up kind of guy. I feel like he's gonna be that guy. Like we got this. We're gonna do it, and I think that's really important, especially from a center who is basically the quarterback of the offensive line. And
And then Lenny, you've
yeah,
got one receiver position left as well.
oh okay.
So your next
Well, I
pick.
guess that works too. I'll pick 2021 Debo Samuel because 1,700 scrimmage yards, and I already know Kyle Shanahan knows how to use this guy. I mean, Debo Samuel. I mean, he's asking for a lot of money now. He deleted all his Niners stuff. He's going to come back. I'm like 90% sure. He's just asking for money, I think. I hope he comes back. I'm not even mad if we overpay him. But, we're praying here. 2021 Debo Samuel is just absolutely electric. He Get him with the ball in his hand in any way you can. I mean, he is just terrifying to a defense. I mean, he plays like how Kittle like he just like hits people because he's so big. He has that mentality like he's like 3 feet taller than he actually is, and he will fight and grit for every single yard. And I'm thinking about okay, aliens, whatever. I need a first down. I need a touchdown, and I need someone who's going to give their all on a play. Debo Samuel is absolutely that kind of guy. And we know he's clutch too because in the playoffs this year, he was almost unstoppable. And I'm not going to necessarily say his playoff run because he was great all year. He was never flat on any single game. I'm sounding like a homer right now, but but yeah, that's why I picked Debo.
All right, and for my center position, I'm going to take 2005 Jeff Saturday.
Ooh, Jeff Saturday, I like
He
that.
had an approximate value, Lenny, this season of 20, which for a center is very high. It
I don't know what
means
that
that
means. I'm sorry.
he's basically 20 points above an average center at the
Oh
position.
wow! Oh my
So
god,
yeah,
this
that's
sounds like a lot.
it is. He is a 6-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All Pro. This was, I believe, his best year. He was the best player on an offensive line that finished first in adjusted sack rate and adjusted line yards. And again, he has chemistry with Marvin Harrison. He seems like a great guy. I know there's that funny thing with Peyton Manning and him on the sideline,
We need to run the ball.
but run the
Yeah.
ball, pass the ball. I don't care. Jeff Saturday can do it. And I think that was the best center season of the decade in my opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like when I was talking about Jason
Or
Kelsey,
the
and I was like,
century.
I'm
I
not
don't know what I said.
sure. I know what you meant. When I was talking about Jason Kelsey, and I'm like, maybe he wasn't the best. That was one of the players that came into my brain. I'm like, yeah, Jeff Saturday was awesome. Man.
Right.
Okay, so quarterbacks or and tackle is left, right?
Yeah.
So which one am I doing now?
I'm going next because I got 2 picks
Oh,
from
all
you.
right, yeah, you go, you
We're doing tackle.
go. Okay.
All right. The best tackle of the season, and I promise,
Oh
this
no,
is
I know.
not
Oh, I'm so screwed.
recency bias.
Oh, god
But
dang it. All right.
2021, Trent Williams was one of the most
Oh,
dominant tackle seasons it was of all time. The guy got a 97 PFF grade, and that's not for no reason. Every single time I watch the 49ers outside of the divisional and NFC title game when I still think he was hurt. Outside of that, every time I watch the 49ers, this guy mauled people in the run game. He kept Jimmy Garoppolo or Trey Lance clean, and that's not exactly easy. And he
that
performed as well as
was
I've
funny.
seen any lineman play in a long time. And I know he just had such a dominant season, man, and I can't ignore that.
No, man. I mean, like, for me, it was such an obvious pick to get Trent Williams, man. Like, I
Because
knew
he's
you were
not
gonna
a
say it.
man.
No, I mean, like, well, that and just because of how freaking good he was this year. I
Yeah.
mean, they lined him up at fullback, dude, in the playoff, and he fucked 2 people. Okay, well, my pick. here, my tackle, for my replacement. I was prepared for you to not take him. Is Joe Thomas. Joe
All right.
Thomas, 2015. Joe
All right.
Thomas maybe didn't have the peak of a Trent Williams in 2021, but he was one of the most reliable tackles in maybe NFL history. He was just fantastic. I don't like. There's not a whole lot I can say besides he was just reliable. And he's if I'm gonna have a blindside guy, and I'm like, okay, I've got to make sure my freaking uh, quarterback stays clean for the whole game. Other than Trent Williams, I want Joe Thomas. I just love Joe Thomas. Personally, I'm just disgusted on how the Browns treated his career in terms of like
I love how the second he retired, they actually became a competent
I know
organization.
it kills me. Like he was on the like worst team ever. I mean, like
One
what?
of some of them.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, my next pick here
The other tackle.
is the other tackle is going to be 2013 Lane Johnson.
Okay.
Okay. Lane Johnson, another guy who's going to steamroll. I just keep talking about this. I wanted guys who are just like are perfect for the Shanahan scheme in terms of like they're just going to be nasty, man. Nasty, nasty, nasty. I mean, like, the way I looked at it in my brain is the Shanahan, the lineman we have right now. It's really good. Like our scheme fit, even though the talent necessarily isn't great, but it's just because all these players are willing to get dirty in the run game, even if like a Mike McGlinchey isn't great in pass offense or Daniel Brunskill isn't great in pass offense. They want to freaking hit people and they want to smash people on the ground. And Lane Johnson's just another one of those guys who are going to do that. And he was one of the best players of this generation. And the Eagles' history, honestly. Lane Johnson, he retired this year, correct?
No, he's still in the league.
Wait,
But
who
you
was the
went
one who
with this.
retired?
You went with rookie Lane Johnson, 2013.
He was very good in 2013. Anyway, I'm going to pick Lane Johnson because he's my boy. Very good player.
All right. This next tackle position is tough because I feel like after Joe Thomas and who's the first guy I picked, Trent Williams, those 2 seasons, it kind of fell off a tad. But I'm going to go with a guy that I think is one of the most underrated players, not just at the tackle position, but I believe
Hmm.
truly in NFL history.
All
Never gets
right.
any mention. 2003, Willie Roaf. I'm not
I
sure if
don't
you've
know
ever
who he is. I'm sorry.
never
I
heard of
don't.
him.
I
He
was ready
made
to
the
be like,
All-Decade team at tackle for the 1990s and for the 2000s.
what? Are you
He made
serious?
11 Pro Bowls. He made
Wow.
4 All-Pro teams. The Kansas City Chiefs in 2003, they had a dude named Priest Holmes, who
Oh
many people
boy.
believe should have won MVP that year, even though I disagree, but a lot of people believe that. And
A lot of people believe
Willie
it.
Roaf was part of that, man, because he anchored an offensive line that finished top 5 in sack percentage and adjusted line yards. He was 33, so maybe not quite in his physical prime, but he had so much mental. He was so smart mentally, and I think he could do damage in both the pass and run game. And he's just a leader, man. He's another leader, another veteran on this team where we've got, Randy Moss and Rob Gronkowski aren't necessarily the easiest personalities, but so just getting another leader there to cultivate more camaraderie and chemistry, I think is huge.
Hmm. No, I mean, like the way you said it, I believe you. I'll just
I know
believe
you've
you.
never heard of the guy.
I'll just believe you. I think that's fair, right?
Yeah. All right, and the last position is quarterback, and I've got the
Ooh,
pick here. This was
I
such.
don't even care.
This was one of the toughest positions to
I know you're not
evaluate.
gonna pick who I got.
So I was between 3 seasons, and none of these guys actually won the Super Bowl, which is funny. But I
That's
was
funny.
looking at 2004 and 2013 Peyton Manning. Go check out our Peyton Manning video, by the way. Um, and I was between 2007 Tom Brady. And so what I think what I think did it for me is I eliminated '04 Peyton Manning because I was looking at their stats while they were trailing and while they were in the fourth quarter. And '04 Manning just doesn't quite compare to the '07 Brady or 13 Manning. And also, both of those guys played in the Earhart Perkins offense, both of
Mhm.
which were ran by Josh McDaniels. Brady actually was coached by McDaniels, and Manning was in the Adam Gase offense.
The high school offensive
McBrady would be a
coordinator.
pick for chemistry here, but I've got Marvin Harrison in 2002, so we've got that built-in chemistry with
All
Manning.
right.
And
I thought you were gonna I thought you were
I
gonna say
ranked
Marvin
the
Harrison at the quarterback.
I ranked the '07 Patriots as the greatest offense ever. But
Hmm.
if I'm picking the more impressive quarterback season, I think 13 Manning had slightly less to deal with. Like I think he
Hmm.
had slightly less talent around him. He didn't quite have a as great as Thomas was and Decker was. They weren't Randy Moss or even prime Wes Welker. And I don't think the offensive line was quite as good. And I still look at what he did that season. Like in the fourth quarter of this season, he had a 113 passer rating. He
Hmm.
completed 66%. And he had a second half passer rating of 112. When trailing, his passer rating was 108. He completed 65%. Like this guy was clutch outside of the Super Bowl, in which the team completely combusted, and that's not going to happen here because it's too good. So I'm going to take 2013 Peyton Manning. I'm going to take my guy.
All right.
I trust him to save the world. I trust him as a leader. He's one of the greatest leaders ever, as is Brady. So I trust both of them to cultivate camaraderie and lead a locker room. But I just think Peyton Manning, he's the smartest quarterback ever to me. He is his own offensive coordinator. And I think he and Josh McDaniels see football in a similar way, if that makes sense, just judging by how I watch them. And I think he definitely utilizes those receiving backs the way Brady does. And I also look at it as who's better at avoiding sacks, and Manning's sack percentage for his career is lower than Brady, so that's another point for him.
All right. Totally fair. I didn't necessarily go for who had the best season in this one. This is going to be very interesting. I was like,
I kind of have a feeling on who you went with.
I mean, if the Mark Andrews pick wasn't obvious enough, I'm going to go with 2019 Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I
Here's
felt
why.
that.
Here's why. You're talking about I picked all these players that are not going to complain about getting the ball, right? I picked all these receivers.
Right.
Lamar Jackson operates purely as a quarterback that needs rushing attempts. And you think about this, and the speed of Debo Samuel, the LT, and Lamar Jackson, dirty, absolutely dirty offensive line with Kyle Shanahan, one of the best of this generation run schemer. I mean, like, what are you gonna do? I mean, like, I mean, like, what are you gonna do? I mean, that sounds like unstoppable to me. I don't know. I just thought about it. We picked Trey Lance because we wanted a running quarterback. His running quarterback in this offense is going to be electric if he's good. I'm going to preface that with if he's good. But if Kyle Shanahan, I've been saying this since 2020 or 2019, but if Kyle Shanahan got his hands on Lamar Jackson, oh man, oh you don't even know.
Even bigger lead to blow this time.
Whatever.
No,
Talk
I
about
think that's a good pick, man. Like I think with the way you built your team, right? So you've got Debo Samuel, kind of an after the catch guy, Mark Andrews after the catch guy, big, powerful run blocking based offensive line in a run blocking scheme. I think Lamar Jackson kind of adding a speed element to all that power would be dangerous for defenses to handle. And he'd have
Mhm.
a receiving running back too with Tomlinson.
Yeah,
A lot of guys that can get open as well. So
I
his job
told
as a
you.
passer is easier.
I told you I wasn't gonna. I did my research here. Okay, except for maybe Wes Welker's best season.
That's fine. All right. Moving on to defense, Lenny. I'm going to spin the wheel between us on who goes first.
Oh yeah, my Mike Tomlin led defense. Let's go.
And I am going first. So
Okay.
spinning the wheel again for position. and it is cornerback.
Ooh. Oh no! 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 It's not fair. Fine. We already know you're gonna pick. Just say it.
So I've got two picks here.
Okay.
So
I'm
first,
so disappointed.
2009, Darrell Revis.
Wow. I'm so surprised. Wow. So surprised. So
Um,
surprised.
yeah, Darrell Revis quite literally had maybe the greatest cornerback season ever in 2009. By far the best of the century. I don't know how he didn't win Defensive Player of the Year. It went to Charles Woodson
Yeah. Let's
of the
go.
Green Bay Packers. I don't know how Darrell Revis didn't win it. Um, he he was quite possibly the greatest coverage corner ever, and he just, I mean, do I even have to explain this? Like, he's clutch. He's played in big games. I was kind of contemplating on which Darrell Revis to pick because the 2010 Revis was very good as well, but I thought '09 was a little statistically better. I don't know what's going on with the 14 Darrell Revis. He was a great one too for New England, but I don't know if he was quite in his physical prime as much as he was in '09, 10.
Mm-hmm.
We get physical prime. We get this point he's tapping into his mental prime as well, and we're getting
So disappointed.
statistical prime. So, and then
I'm
the
just
other
so
guy,
disappointed.
this is also a huge shocker, right? 2013 playoffs, Richard Sherman. Um,
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, keep going. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
um, yeah, so he was the best player on one of the three best defenses of this century, and
Mm-hmm.
he had a really awesome season in 2013, and I just think overall there wasn't a better corner season this season than 2013 Richard Sherman outside of '09 Revis, and that's just
It's like
ultimately
not
what
even
went.
fair. It's like that. '09 Revis isn't even fair to compare anybody else to.
And yeah, Richard Sherman he won a Super Bowl, so we got the clutch factor there, and he's a leader on defense. I like that. I
A
like his
leader.
attitude, like his swagger, and I feel like his kind of fire would make Revis and the rest of the defense even better, like it did in Seattle. So,
Mm-hmm.
and Seattle's defense since he left has gone like this. So,
Yeah, I would agree. I would very much agree as a Niner fan who got him. Uh, for my picks at corner here, I get two picks, right?
yeah,
Ty Law in 2003, I'll just say. Ty Law, Patriots guy. There was a lot of Patriots corners I considered because I was going to go for a more like Patriots like utility kind of defense, more of a 3-4 scheme. And
Matt
Ty
Patricia.
Law is just in 2003. He won the Super Bowl, obviously. He's great, man. Good enough in zone for me. And though I don't know a ton about Ty Law, I just know he was a beast. I know he was a team player. I just know he was a beast. Okay,
You know he lived in Peyton Manning's head.
I
That's
do
what
know
you
that
know.
too. I do know that too. I know that too.
Um, man,
My other pick. This one I'll know
he
more
was
about.
third on my board. I can't fault that.
This guy is a little bit more I can talk about. He's more my speed, but I'm gonna take 2009 Charles Woodson. Okay,
Ooh, interesting.
2009 Charles Woodson when he went to Green Bay with the Raiders, he had a big like career revival.
He won
He
Defensive
actually
Player of the
did,
Year.
yeah. He was awesome that year, and even though probably shouldn't have deserved to go to him, but still, I went to the one who won the
He had a great
award, so all
season.
that matters, right? Yeah, he had a great season. But I mean, I just love his personality, number one, and I mean, he had 9 interceptions this year, 3 touchdowns. At, 45 passes deflected or something. It was some crazy. No. It's 18 passes deflected. Sorry. Um, that's just wild, man. I mean, Charles Woodson has this baller mentality. I think it's hard to find in corners in general. He has this like swagger. He's been to the Rose Bowl. He's been to the Super Bowl. He's been to the Super Bowl 2 times. Wait, no, not 2 times at this point, but he's been to the Super Bowl. He's been in these moments. You know what I mean? And
Right.
defensive player of the year. It's just, if I want a guy like this who's been in the stage, he's been on the big stage before, and he hasn't disappointed. And I'm going to pick Charles Woodson for this.
Okay, and then my final corner. I think the best one left is 2019 Stephon Gilmore. He won Defensive Player
Yeah,
of the Year that
for
season.
sure.
But I need a slot guy, and I think the best slot corner season left, my Charles Woodson was actually first on that for me. But
Hmm.
I'm going to go 2015 Patrick Peterson. I
Hmm.
think because Patrick Peterson has played like 3 to 4 years where he hasn't been as good, people have kind of forgotten how good he was. But the Cardinals in 2015 went 13-3, and he might have been their best player. And that was the season in which David Johnson was great. I remember Carson Palmer had an MVP caliber year, but Patrick Peterson, I just remember he locked down everybody in the slot on the outside. Very versatile player. Isn't somebody that's like he's not like Richard Sherman and where he could be a distraction, but I think with a leader like Sherman, he could be even better. Again, that I think that energy is palpable, and I think that kind of NFC West rivalry could make them both better players. And I think in the slot he can lock up slot receivers, and I trust him. He made the playoffs this year against the Aliens. So
All right. My final corner pick here is going to be 2006 Champ Bailey. I could have picked
consider that
2004
too.
to 2006, but 2006 was ultimately his best season. He had his most interceptions. I don't know if you've seen this, but he had 162 yards. That's crazy, right? I mean, that's a little crazy.
162 interception return yards.
I mean, that's wild to me.
It's
I
wild.
mean, 70 yards was his longest play. That's wild, man. I mean, that's more than Keenan Allen had this year. Sorry, I'm not talking about Keenan Allen,
So
but
Lenny, you are playing two interior defensive linemen, correct?
uh, I'm playing three if you count DN D tackle hybrid kind of thing because I'm doing a
Yeah,
three
I'm just
four.
talking. Yeah, okay. So you're playing three linebackers, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So
So you
yeah,
fit
I
that
mean, Champ
scheme.
Bailey, Denver Broncos legend. Washington, he was good, but he was best known for his Denver years. I mean, there isn't a lot to say about this season. He was awesome this season. We just needed another man-to-man guy. I feel, and we
Yeah,
got him in
I
Champ.
I highly considered him as well. He was my fifth guy after 19 Gilmore. All right, moving on to the next position.
The next position.
We are two safety, so I'm up next then.
Oh, safety. All right.
This was an easy decision.
Oh, jeez.
2006, Ed Reed. Ed Reed in
Dang it, bro.
2006
All right.
was just a demon. I mean, I was between a couple seasons. '04 Ed Reed, '09 Ed Reed. '04 was maybe the physically awesome. '09 was mentally awesome. But I think
Yeah.
'06 was the best mix of that. And that was also statistically, of course, covered in the Manning video. That defense was awesome in '06.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And the pass defense was no small part in that. And I think him and Peyton Manning on the same team would be such an awesome thing to see.
Oh man. That
To
would
get,
be
we
cool.
have an
That would be
offensive
cool.
captain and we have a defensive captain, two of the greatest leaders ever.
Arguably
And
two of the greatest minds ever.
yeah,
Period. I would argue.
and I think him, Revis, and Sherman together would be
And
just
and Belichick. And
and
Belichick,
Belichick.
man.
Belichick
Oh
loves
man.
the guy too, so
Wow.
that's
All
another
right.
thing.
This is
So
formidable, man. This is
I
like
don't I
this
don't
is a
even have to
formidable.
argue about this. Like, and then my other
Yeah, no, man.
safety. This was another pretty easy decision for me. As much as I love the 2007 Bob Sanders season, because I think that's Bob Sanders is really underrated. Uh, 2008 Troy Polamalu. Mitch
Dang
thinks
it, bro.
he
Come
should have won
on.
MVP that year. Now I think
That's
that's
wild.
ludicrous because the safety should never win MVP ever. But the fact that that's even mentioned shows how good he was that year. 2008 Steelers were a top 10 defense of all time, and Troy Polamalu was their best player, and he was their best player in the playoffs and regular season. And we know Troy Polamalu, he's awesome. This was his prime, so prime Troy Polamalu 2008.
Troy Palamalu. Oh man, yeah. I don't know if you've heard about this, but like the story Pat McAfee always talks about on his show, how he was gonna like score a touchdown at Pittsburgh, like his hometown, and then Troy Polamalu lined up on special teams, like to the like it called out his play basically. What they saw on film was never the case. So I don't know. I thought it was funny,
Yeah.
but my guys, all right, strong safety. We got Abe's guy, Eagles legend, Brian Dawkins, the Wolverine, 2004. Man, Brian Dawkins, dude, he might be one of the most underrated players of this generation. No one talks about him. He gets overshadowed by Ed Reed and Troy Polamalu, I feel like. But Brian Dawkins, man, I mean, like, have you seen him like come out the tunnel with the Wolverine? Like he's all,
He's
I mean, like,
awesome.
it's freaking intimidating. And talk about someone who's just gonna cream you, man. I mean, he let everything on the field, man. There was no doubt at the end of the day, at the end of the game, who was the boss on that field, and that was Brian Dawkins, man. He was just, I mean, like, I feel like no one talks about this, man. But anyway, uh, my next pick is going to be Darren Sharper. I feel like Darren Sharper was. I don't remember which season I picked. I didn't write it down for whatever reason. But
Or should I just
Darren
give you his
Sharper.
best one?
Yeah, just give me the best. I don't know why I didn't write it down, but I didn't.
So why are you picking Sharper then?
I
Tell
picked
us.
Darren Sharper because number one, you took Troy Polamalu, who's going to be my other, because I had Ed Reed and Brian Dawkins both lined up, but I didn't have another free safety. Darren Sharper, I had. Uh, 2009, I think was his best year. Now I'm thinking about it.
You could argue that or 2000.
2002. Okay, whatever. Anyway, Darren Sharper is what I need right now, man. Someone who's just gonna. I mean, he's a returner too. I could put him my returner. I could if I really wanted to.
So
2009.
in '09 he was 34, but he had 9 interceptions. 2000 he
Yes.
had 9 interceptions, but he was only 25.
We're. I guess it doesn't really. I don't think it matters that much.
Lenny, you got to make
2000,
a
2009.
decision.
Fine, I'll say 2000 because he was like more athletic. I guess I want to
All
say.
right, there
I'm.
you go.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't have like a lot to say about it. I read the freaking All Pro list, and he was the only one I could find. Like really, like I was like, oh yeah, he's. I know that guy.
The hardest hitting safety in the league.
Was he? Oh man, I feel bad that I didn't know that. I'm stupid,
That's
bro.
no, that's just a funny meme
It's a
about him.
meme.
Yeah.
Oh, I know everyone else. I promise.
All right, next position.
Oh, I got to go first this time.
No, you just picked two safeties. I'm next.
Oh, what? Oh no, you're right.
All right. So we got two linebackers.
Oh,
Linebackers
okay.
is up next. I can't
No,
believe
you're
we.
gonna take my guy again. Whatever. God.
All right. So if you have Peyton Manning on a team, you have Ed Reed on a team, you have Bill
Oh,
Belichick on a team. Seems
taking
like
my
there's a certain
players.
linebacker that would really fit
Oh
in
my
here.
God. Stop taking my players, bro. Come on.
2000 Ray Lewis. Anybody?
Jeez,
Um,
bro. You're just fleecing
Are
me
the
right now. This
2000
isn't fair.
Ravens the greatest defense ever? Maybe. Was 2000 Ray Lewis the greatest linebacker season ever? Yes. Was Ray Lewis the greatest linebacker ever? Yes. Was Ray Lewis the greatest defensive leader ever? Yes. Enough said.
You
And
go
then my
through
other
it.
linebacker, I was between three guys. 2006 Brian Urlacher,
Mm,
2015 Luke Kuechly, and 2018 Bobby Wagner.
yep.
And so this is to save all of humanity, Lenny.
Okay. Fair enough. That's
Bobby
fair.
Wagner in 2018 went out in the wild card round, so he's out.
Yeah. No, get out of here. Seahawks players. Mm-mm.
2006,
Or Rams players.
Brian Urlacher made it to the Super Bowl.
Nah.
2015, uh, Luke Kuechly made it to the Super Bowl. Funnily enough, both of them lost to Peyton Manning in fairly defensive games,
Oh no. Poor.
but
Oh jeez.
the Chicago Bears allowed 29 points in the
Ah,
2006.
egregious. Egregious.
The Carolina Panthers allowed 24 points in the 2016 or 15 Super Bowl. So, just off the basis of that, because I think they're completely equal as players, I'm taking 2015 Luke Kuechly.
All right. Fair enough. I mean, like they're really close. I feel like it's
You could go either way.
hard to figure it out. I mean, I don't really need to spend a lot of time. You did a good job explaining it. But
All right, Lenny, you
my
got
picks,
three linebackers here.
my picks, I get to pick three right now.
Well, no, you got two. So you got two
Okay, I
more.
was gonna say, I thought you were gonna give it to me. Okay,
Yeah.
so the linebacker I'm gonna take here, this is for peak. I'm not necessarily speaking of career here, but I'm taking Patrick Willis. And 2012, I honestly really doesn't matter for 2009. No, actually, I think 2009 was better. Honestly,
All right.
I was fighting 2012 and 2009 because 2012 he went to the Super Bowl. Obviously, had a very good year. Uh, obviously, he had almost six All Pros in a row. Six. He
Insane.
almost had six, but he had. I mean, 2008 he didn't win All Pro for some reason, and I don't think people really talk about how good Patrick Willis was, man. I mean, like he was just everything you could have asked for a linebacker. He was a great leader. He's gr- great. He was a smart player. He was a very smart player. Just someone who's coverage. He was very coveragely sound. He was sound in coverage. And there's not a negative in his game, man. There isn't a negative. There isn't a single one I can find. And it's it's sad for me as a Niner fan, and I think for NFL fans it should be sad for everybody. But he didn't play as long as maybe we would have liked, and I just had to give my respect to Patrick Willis here, man. Ray Lewis, it was me for Ray Lewis or Patrick Willis, and Patrick Willis is just amazing. He should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And yeah, that's my pick. So my second linebacker. So I need a off the ball linebackers now. I need guys who are going to rush the passer, who are going to drop back in the coverage. And the person I thought of immediately was 2015 playoffs Von Miller, Super Bowl MVP.
You're going
I mean,
linebacker here.
yeah,
All right.
2015 Von Miller. Uh, I, People don't talk about this with Von Miller, but he is very good in coverage. He's very good in coverage.
True.
Like for a linebacker, he's very good. And I it's hard. I don't really feel like I need to explain this.
No, you don't.
He won Super Bowl MVP, and I was looking for utility, someone who's going to be great in pass defense and going to be a good on the ball edge rusher. He filled the box on both of those. He's a stud. I don't think I need to explain any more than that.
All right, so you've still got one more linebacker left, Lenny.
I'll replace my other D tackle with the linebacker. I think that works. Right?
So you want two edges? You want two edge rushers, or you want two interior defensive linemen?
So I have three interior defensive linemen that are like two of them operate as DNs, right? And two of them on the outside are linebackers who either are going to drop back into coverage or 5-man rush. That's
So
what
then, designated wise, two edge guys, one interior, and then like
and three linebackers.
As a yeah, okay,
yeah, all right, yeah. I did a bad job explaining it the first time, I guess.
all right. So then, edge is the next position for me.
Okay.
I'll only go one here because you've still got another linebacker.
All right.
So just to make it up, I went for my edge guy with 2001 Michael Strahan. Michael Strahan in 2001 had over 20 sacks. He was an All-Pro. I considered a couple Michael Strahans, considered 2002, considered 07 playoffs. But ultimately, I thought 01 was the most consistently dominant season for him. So taking Michael Strahan here.
I mean, dude had he basically won the Super Bowl by himself. I mean, I think you can argue that. Even though Eli had that incredibly clutch throw, like he always does in the playoffs for whatever reason. But for my outside backer here, I don't think people talk about James Harrison, how good he really was, man. I mean, in 2000, what was it? 2008?
That was
16 sacks, man. I mean, 7 forced fumbles. Just think about that. 16 sacks, 7 forced fumbles. I mean, James Harrison, now he's not necessarily the coverage guy that I wanted in Von Miller, right? And I figured I'd probably have him on the line a lot more. He's someone who's going to drop back occasionally. He's not going to be that coverage guy that Von Miller is. But generally, James Harrison, one of the best players in our generation, one of the most scariest players in this generation. I was watching an NFL, what was it, the top 10, one of those top 10 ones from 2012 or 2015, whenever they were produced. And they said scariest players in the NFL. Guess who was number one?
James Harrison.
James Harrison. His face, bro. Have you seen his face?
Yeah,
he looks like he's gonna jump me through the screen. I mean, James Harrison is just absolute beast in run defense, pass rush. I mean, and he's gonna bring this level of energy of we're gonna win this game. And he'll scare the alien away, bro. they'll go back in their space pod and they'll just run away, bro, because how scary James Harrison is. But yeah, I got 2008 James Harrison.
So, do you want to go with another edge here?
Oh, for my
Yeah, for your
DNT
second
tackle
guy.
thing. Okay, okay, yeah.
Or
I'll go
honestly,
with.
yeah, you can just pick edges then.
I have 2018 Cameron Hayward. Cameron Hayward.
You're going
Uh,
with that?
yes, Cameron Hayward. Very understated for his entire career. Another a Steelers guy. I wanted another Steelers guy because it's another like dirty defensive player. I've picked a lot of like just hard hitting guys. Cameron Hayward, great run defender. Maybe not the same kind of pass rusher as a James Harrison or as a Von Miller, right? But I already have James Harrison and Von Miller at this point. I don't need like amazing pass rushers at this point, right? I have I have two fantastic off the ball, on the ball linebackers here. So I figured I'd pick more of a low key pick, Cameron Hayward, and yeah, I don't think I need to explain it more than that. I just wanted to get a guy I knew was great and I knew was going to be great in run defense, not necessarily amazing, like as good as these guys are in pass rush.
Yeah, I think Cameron Hayward for his entire career has just been slept on, right? Because it's been Palomalu and Harrison, and then now TJ Watt has gotten all that
Mm-hmm.
attention. But I
Exactly.
really think Hayward has been just so consistent year by year.
Yep.
All right. So I went with my next pick,
Mm-hmm.
2006, Julius Peppers.
You didn't get JJ Watt, man? I was expecting that.
JJ Watt's an interior defensive lineman
Oh,
for like
I
all
mean,
his best
he's like
seasons.
3-4 though. He's like
But
3-4.
he's designated as that. That's the thing.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough.
But Julius Peppers in 2006, Lenny, this man had an unbelievable season. 14
Yes.
sacks, 70 pressures, and just 45 hurries. Like he is just somebody that consistently year by year gets to the quarterback. And I feel like if I'm in a situation where I'm having to blitz in Wade Phillips' scheme, I know Julius Peppers can get there. Even I think
Mm-hmm.
he can. He's one of the greatest pass rushers ever. Really, he was
Yep.
super consistent throughout his career. He's a veteran, just somebody that I think would be an addition to the team.
All right. So I'll pick my last D tackle here because I have a nose tackle I'm gonna get right, and
Yeah, last
then we'll
edge.
just and then oh yeah, huh, we're on the last ones, huh? All right. So my second DN here, I figured that you were gonna or not DN D tackle technically. It's 3-4. I'm gonna take 2012 JJ Watt. 2012 JJ Watt is maybe I'm not the greatest, but has an argument for the greatest defensive years of all time. I mean, oh my god,
Yeah,
what is it to say about JJ
it
Watt
was an
this year?
insane season.
I mean, like I remember, visually I can see in my brain that one where he picked it off for the pick six, where he just got his big old clubs out of the air. The freaking arm thing that he always has, man,
Yeah,
scary. The bloody nose, the
he's
oh,
another
20 and a half
scary player to
sacks.
play.
Another scary player. Another one of these guys who are just gonna absolutely. I mean, he's actually it's weird because James Harrison is a cool guy actually off the field. I've seen like stuff on NFL films. I've seen he's actually really like his wife is like I'm not afraid of him at all. He's like he's a sweetheart. But JJ Watt's like the same way. He's not like really that bad. He's not
And
a bad
hope
dude at
he's
all.
not.
Yeah. And it sounded sincere. That's all I'm gonna say. JJ Watt, 2012, man. There's not a lot to be said. It still echoes in
So
NFL lore.
why did you pick 2012 JJ
I
Watt?
I don't know. I had a brain fart, bro. I'm serious. I had a brain fart moment.
2014 JJ Watt was the season most people considered him to be at his best. So I'm interested in why you went with 2012. Do you have
The
anything on that?
20 and a half sacks, man. I mean, they both had 22 and a half sacks. They both had the same. I guess for me. It was like either way.
The
Either
team
way,
was slightly better, or he was
the
slightly
team was slightly.
younger.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think 2012 or 2014, both years were just
You can't go
fantastic.
wrong. I'm not saying it's a
either.
bad pick.
Exactly.
I guess
No, I
the
get it.
16 pass defenses to 10. That's fair. Slightly
Yeah.
more versatile, I guess. All right. So now we're moving into interior defensive linemen to cap off the defense.
Well, I know who
So
you're
I've
gonna
got
get.
2 picks here. 2018 Aaron Donald's like
Wow.
when we're talking about teams that can or the best defensive seasons ever. And Aaron Donald in 2018 right up there, man. He had 20 sacks as an interior defensive lineman, and to top that off, he's maybe the best run stopping guy in the league, right? I mean, he can stop the run and he can get to the quarterback. And on this team, Peppers isn't necessarily a great run defender, so I feel like we may need a guy that can stop the run a bit, and I think Donald can do that. And there will be less pass rushing pressure on him than when he's on the Rams. And we saw once he got Von Miller in that playoff run, he was unstoppable. Now he's
Mhm.
surrounded by even better players. So, and then for my other pick, really tough decision here. I was between two guys. It was 2002 Warren Sapp, the
Mm.
season that he won the Super Bowl. That was just a historic season from Tampa Bay, and to me, that was
Check.
one of the greatest defensive seasons ever from a
Yep.
player in terms of interior defensive linemen, and then obviously the team was awesome, right? So they won the Super Bowl, one of the
John
greatest,
Lynch too.
one of the greatest defenses ever.
Mhm.
My other guy was 2014 Ndamukong Suh,
Mm.
and Ndamukong
Both
Suh,
great picks.
because he's older now. But you guys forget how good he was, and that's going to be my pick here.
All right.
2014, Ndamukong Suh. I feel like he was a little bit better against the run. Detroit allowed under 3.3 yards per carry, so they allowed under a first down if you ran it 3 times against them on an average play. Sue was the best run defender on that team. I like his attitude. I think he could get in the head of the aliens like he does Aaron Rodgers. And I think he's just a dominant player, man. That Lions defense. People forget it was one of the best in the NFL in 2014, and Sue was a huge part of that. He was their best player. He was an All Pro in that season. So I'm going to take 2014 and Ndamukong Suh.
I mean, really, you can't go wrong either way. I don't see any avenue. Maybe I guess the only thing I would say is like versatility. Maybe you like Sue better because he's more agile, he's more of like a athletic in that sense. You know what I mean? And maybe you like Warren Sapp better because he's just a big body and he's gonna be able to flatten the aliens or whatever. But for my final pick at nose tackle here, I was between Warren Sharp, Warren Sapp, sorry, and Vince Wilfork. And I was talking about
Ooh,
it. I have pass rushers. I have pass rushers. I've explained this already. I have J.J. Watt. I have Von Miller. I have James Harrison. I have pass rushers. I'm fine with that. And I could go for more. I could go for more and Warren Sapp,
just
even though he
flatten
wasn't the
the aliens
greatest,
completely.
even though he wasn't obviously the greatest pass rusher like that, he's definitely a better pass rusher than Vince Wilfork. But what Vince Wilfork offers in run defense is unmatched compared to Warren Sapp. No offense to Warren Sapp, man, but Vince Wilfork in 2012, oh man, like
Mitch's guy.
jeez, I don't know how you can move that guy. So ultimately, I went with Vince Wilfork in 2012. Maybe it's a little bit of like I guess like I don't know, controversial pick, maybe. But like
Maybe.
it's just like I don't need pass rush right now. It's like a luxury pick. I need run defense. And I already have Cameron Hayward, who's a big body, but like other than that, I mean I have JJ Watt, who's pretty big. He's not like a generally a big guy. Von Miller, who's not like a big guy either. James Harrison, who is a beefy guy, but isn't necessarily that guy against the run. So you know, either way, I don't think you can go wrong here. But I think just because I already have all these pass rushers, I don't need another guy. So I'm going to pick Vince Wilfork from 2012, who is like Vita Vea, but like even crazier.
So
Honestly,
Vince Wilfork is 6'1", 325.
that's wild, man. I mean, like,
He's a
oh, jeez.
All right, Lenny. We are now to Special teams. Your favorite part of
Ooh,
the game.
boy. Ooh,
Part of the
boy.
game that got you a playoff win in Lambeau Field.
You know, I think Aaron Rodgers choking actually got us that win, but
That
whatever.
too, but the biggest part was the block kick and the
Yeah,
missed field goal.
true,
People forget that.
true,
And
true.
I have the first pick for special teams. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go with a kicker because I need clutch kicking.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Tucker is the most accurate kicker,
What? You're not gonna take out of it?
but
Okay. It doesn't
you
matter.
know
They're
what
both
I've got to do,
racing.
Lenny.
All right.
Peyton Manning is on this team. Bill Belichick, Ray Lewis. We've got all these 2000s legends.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta take the guy that I just think is more clutch, and I think that's Adam Vinatieri from 2004.
Oh
Um,
wait, I thought you were taking Justin Tucker. Okay.
I said Justin Tucker statistically is the most accurate kicker
Okay.
ever,
Yeah, that's why I thought you
but
were. Okay, you go.
Adam
Keep going.
Vinatieri is my choice. I think
Yeah.
2004 was his most accurate season statistically. We know he has that clutch factor, and he's just shown me more of an ability to kick in the snow. And so if we're having to
Mm-hmm.
play the aliens wherever we're playing them, if it's in a snowy condition,
Need the versatility.
I really do trust Adam Vinatieri in that situation. So I'm taking 2014 or 2004 Adam Vinatieri.
2004 Adam Vinatieri. Okay. Uh, I think the only obvious pick here is the one you already named, Justin Tucker. Um, I'm gonna go with 2013. Maybe his like leg is a little bit more stable, I guess, because he's all younger. I don't think it really matters at this point. But like, like coming off the
Every
Super Bowl
Justin
win,
Tucker is a
obviously.
great Justin
Yeah,
Tucker.
I know. Coming off, obviously a Super Bowl year where he had a like he scored what it was like he had some insane stat. I don't remember what it was, but he had kicked like 10 field goals and was like counted for 30 points in the playoffs or something like that. I don't know. It was some crazy stat. I don't remember exactly, but um, Justin Tucker, he already talked about it. He's one of the most efficient kickers of all time. Maybe not the clutch guy that Adam Vinatieri was, but he's still Justin
And then
Tucker,
you could pick a punter or returner.
guys. Okay. Uh, my punter here, this is just like kind of a meme pick. This is a little bit of a meme pick. But I'm taking Pat McAfee in
God
2014.
damn.
Were you gonna take him?
I was gonna have him on this team. God damn it. Okay.
We need that swagger. We need that broadcasting ability of Pat McAfee. We need that person, man,
Lenny,
like that
why?
guy in the building.
Lenny's building a broadcast team as well as
The
a team to
broadcast
beat
team.
aliens. All right, what year?
2014. That's the only year he went all pro. Pat McAfee, he was really good. He was very good, actually. He was
He was a
very,
good
very
kicker,
good.
but that's nobody cares about that.
He also would cream people on the freaking what was it on kick returns if they
I'll
went too
just say
far.
this:
I'm
like
just gonna say that.
the aliens wouldn't want to get into like a fight with Pat McAfee. Like they don't
Yeah,
want
they wouldn't want to get into the
they
ring.
want no
They would,
part of that. All
nah,
right,
nah,
so
not
I'm
even a
so
little
depressed now that I can't pick Pat McAfee.
bit.
I'm gonna have to
Oh man.
settle with 2018 Johnny Hecker.
Oh, so
I don't want
sad.
to talk about Johnny Hecker because I'm still pissed I couldn't get him. But he was pretty good, I guess. I mean, he had a great Super Bowl when all the Rams did was punt. He was their best player. And then for the
Do
returner, I'm gonna go
you
with
want to specify playoffs then? 2018
no,
playoffs.
because he was great the whole year. He was all pro.
Okay,
So.
fair enough. I just wanted to ask. I wanted to bring it up.
And then 2006, Devin Hester
2006
for
Devin
my
Heska.
returner. He had the, and I'll specify playoffs here because he had that awesome kickoff return, man. That kickoff return in the Super Bowl on the opening play that really just I think it shocked everybody. But if there was someone that was going to do it, it's Devin Hester, the greatest returner ever, and somebody that absolutely should be in the Hall of Fame. There's zero argument against it.
I think it's so stupid that people don't think he should be in the Hall of Fame. He's so clearly just I don't know. We don't have to get into it now, but
Lenny. He
so
is
clearly.
so far ahead of the second greatest return. Like
I
it's not
know.
even.
I know you picked the guy that like yeah. I was gonna go with Cordell Patterson here. I also think this could work. I thought about this. I'm like, if like one of my guys got injured, if Debo got injured at receiver, put Cordell there. I don't think it's going to be bad. I don't think it's going to be bad at all. I think it's pretty similar, right? I mean, you think about it. same skill set. He was used the same way relatively in Arthur Smith's scheme. And obviously, he's a great returner. I don't think it's a lot to explain here. I mean, great returner. And we have a solid backup here that we can have for Debo Samuel in the utility building. So, yeah, that's why I pick Cordell.
All right, Lenny.
Wait, no, I got to draft one more player, one more person, actually. Okay. Player personnel. That's me.
We're
Player
not doing
personnel.
player personnel,
Okay, fine.
but okay, whatever. That the
GM,
teams
GM.
have been complete.
I
Um,
like I like his team. I think I like my team.
Let me type this all in real quick, and then I'll read it out. I like how this went. This was fun.
This was fun. I had a good time.
Hopefully we'll have an episode out tomorrow. I'm off the next couple of days, so we can do an actual serious one. But this was a fun. This was probably more fun than that would have been.
Oh yeah, this is just like let's appreciate players and let's just do something that doesn't mean anything at
Should
all,
I
and we'll
name him
never have any meaning.
Shanahan or Shannon?
I think we're going with Shannon for now until he wins the Super Bowl. We'll just call him Shannon.
All right.
Kyle Shannon.
So my team, 2013 Peyton Manning at quarterback,
Yeah.
running back 2000 Marshall Faulk, receivers 2003 Randy Moss, 2002 Marvin Harrison, 2021 Cooper Kupp, tight end 2011 Rob Gronkowski, tackles 2021 Trent Williams and 2003 Willie Roaf, guards 2007 Logan Mankins and 2013 Evan Mathis, and at center 2005 Jeff Saturday. Defensively, on the edge, 2001 Michael Strahan and 2006 Julius Peppers. In the interior defensive line, 2018 Aaron Donalds and 2014 Ndamukong Suh. At linebacker, 2000 Ray Lewis and 2015 Luke Kuechly. At corner, 2009 Darrelle Revis, 2013 Richard Sherman, and 2015 Patrick Peterson. At free safety, 2006 Ed Reed. At strong safety, 2008 Troy Polamalu. At kicker, 2004 Adam Vinatieri. At punter, 2018 Johnny Hecker. At returner, 2006 playoffs Devin Hester. And then at head coach, 2003 Bill Belichick. Offensive coordinator, 2014 playoffs Josh McDaniels running the Earhart-Perkins offense.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2015 Wade Phillips is the defensive coordinator running this 4-3 system.
Man, you're so lucky you got Wade Phillips, man. Not gonna lie.
And then Lenny, 2019 Lamar Jackson, a quarterback. 2006 LT at running back. 2010 Larry Fitzgerald. 2021 Debo Samuel. And 2009 Wes Welker at receiver. 2021 Mark Andrews at tight end. At tackle, 2015 Joe Thomas. And 2013 Lane Johnson. At guard, 2020 Quentin Nelson. And 2004 Alan Faneca. And at center, 2017 Jason Kelce.
Best Super
Defensively,
Bowls of all time.
on the edge, 2018 Cameron Hayward and 2012 J.J. Watt. In the interior, 2012 Vince Wilfork. At linebacker, 2009 Patrick Willis, 2015 playoffs Von Miller, and 2008 James Harrison. At corner, 2003 Ty Law, 2009 Charles Woodson, and 2006 Champ Bailey. At free safety, 2004 Brian Dawkins. At strong safety, 2000 Darren Sharper. At kicker, 2013 Justin Tucker. At punter, 2014 Pat McAfee.
Pat
And at
McAfee.
returner, 2021 Cordero Patterson. The head coach, 2021 Kyle Shanahan. The offensive coordinator, 2021 Mike McDaniel running the West Coast system. And then defensively, so I went with the only season Mike Tomlin was actually a defensive coordinator. That was 2006.
All right, that's fair enough with me. He was better in 2006 and 2011 as a defensive coordinator. I'd
So
probably
2006 Mike Tomlin running the 3-4. All right, Lenny. That's
just
it.
real quick. I just thought about this because I have a couple of regrets. Just like a quick thing. What do you have a regret about like your list here? Like anywhere where you're like, oh, I wish I did this.
So, I wish I could have gotten a Falcon in.
Oh yeah, it's so sad. Matt
Could have
Ryan,
replaced 03
2016.
Moss with 15 Julio for more chemistry.
Maybe.
Like I kind of think like you could have gone like if you wanted to build the actual best possible team, you could build like the '04 Patriots or 13 Seahawks here just for all chemistry. But I think this would
True,
be a
you could
better
do
choice.
that.
It's just more talent. But I don't really have a ton of regrets here. I'm pretty happy. I was pretty planned out for this.
I wish I thought out defensive coordinator more. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't think about it as much. I thought I was just gonna get Wade Phillips, and that was that. And then I was like, oh, I have to pick someone else. Okay. Um,
Oh yeah, I wish I could have gotten Pat McAfee, but that wasn't. I intended to. I just wasn't able to.
maybe we can make a trade. We can do a trade. Give me Wade Phillips. I'll trade you Pat McAfee straight up.
Uh, all right, Lenny. All right, guys, that's it for episode 14 of the Lay Down Podcast. I hope you enjoyed this draft and this episode. Make sure to check out our social medias in the description. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video for more NFL content. With that said, thank you to Lenny for joining, and God bless.